how would each of the factions do if they had all of their members trying to fight Miyabi? Which ones would have the best chance of actually being able to beat her? Now, I'm not going to pull up pictures of all of them, but I'll just go in this order. So, Cunning Hairs, I think, would last a pretty decent amount of time, but mainly because of Anby and Billy. Nekomata and Nicole are realistically not going to be doing much in a fight against Miyabi. They just don't have the speed, and realistically, Nicole definitely has the firepower, but I don't think she could even reliably get it off in time, even if it could land. Next with Bellabog, I don't even think this is an argument. Bellabog stands no chance. Hell, even in the cutscenes where you see their kind of speed, Bellabog is arguably one of the slowest factions. And they're just construction workers at the end of the day, so I just don't think they have a chance. Now, Sons of Caledon is where we actually have a discussion, because one, they have the highest numbers out of any of the factions currently. So, in terms of lasting the longest, that alone probably gives them a good chance. Especially since you have powerhouses like Caesar and Lighter on their squad that are reliably going to be able to fight pretty long. Now, again, are they going to be able to beat Miyabi? Probably not. But out of all the factions, they so far probably have one of the best chances, because Miyabi's going to have to take out all the other members while also having Caesar and Lighter, who are actually strong and very, very competent fighters. And nowhere near someone you could just shrug off. Like, if either of them land a hit on Miyabi, she's not shrugging it off. Like, a hit from Lighter or a hit from Caesar is going to hurt a lot. Mockingbird, if this was like a stealth operation where they were trying to take out Miyabi when her guard was down, maybe. But in an upfront confrontation, I don't think they can. Again, because, sure, Vlad is definitely powerful. There's no denying that. Hell, you have to be if you want to be able to fight 1v1 against Lycon and actually be able to be comparable to him. But unless he had the support of a bunch more characters, like a full faction, I don't think he would be able to fight her reliably. And sure, Vivian is definitely going to be good support with her AoE attacks, her ether damage, all that, but it's just not going to be enough. Especially because Miyabi, again, is just too damn fast. Next, Victoria Housekeeping. Lycon is probably going to be their best bet. Now, I don't think we've seen a fully, going all-out Rina or all that, but the rest of the faction really isn't comparable power-wise, at least from what I have seen, to Lycon. So again, he's kinda going to be hard carrying them. And yes, they definitely have power and could fight her, because they definitely have unconventional means and could probably do some pretty insane tactics with their teamwork. But again, I don't think they would be able to do much. Sure, they definitely are going to be near the top of a list, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Next, PubSec. This one, from just the available agents, they're cooked. Jane is definitely their fastest agent, and Ching Yi is definitely going to be hitting reliably one of the hardest, because the android body is going to give her a physical advantage that a lot of characters don't have. Zhu Yuan's going to have to fight from afar, and Seth, sure, if they have good synergy, they can do well, but not well enough. You would have to have Zhu Yan literally having to use her knowledge of Miyabi and what she knows about her to maybe get an edge. But again, I sound like a broken record here. The speed of Miyabi is just too much. And if this is not just a sparring match, it's like an all-out battle of, I'm trying to eliminate my target, they're cooked. Now, I know Miyabi's part of Section 6, but I'm going to just talk about it. What if Miyabi had to fight the rest of her squad by herself? This one, I think Miyabi actually loses this. Because they are all elite fighters. They are all insanely powerful. And Yanagi, even if she's not on the same level as Miyabi, Like, she is definitely probably the closest in speed to her. And power-wise, I think she'd be able to actually fight her reliably. And then with Haramasa firing from the distance and Sokaku using her abilities as support, I think it's going to be a grueling battle, but I think if it came to blows, I'd probably say Section 6 could probably beat Miyabi. Now, Stars of Lyra, do I even need to talk about that one? Astra's going to have to boost Evelyn like 100 times over if she even wants to be able to fight against Miyabi. Now, the Defense Force Silver Squad, if we're just talking about Anby, then Anby's cooked. She's powerful, she's a super soldier, but Miyabi might as well make super soldiers seem like normal humans. And I don't know why they don't have it here, but let's talk about Obel Squad. Sure, currently we've only seen Soldier 11 and Trigger, but we know the other two members, and if we're going off of just the ones that we have in game so far, yes, they're probably losing to Miyabi, because Soldier 11, sure, can probably fight for a few seconds, maybe a minute tops, and with support from Trigger from a distance, making Miyabi have to play defensive whenever there's a sniper on the field, I still don't think it's going to be enough. But if you have Trigger in the background, but then you have the other two members, Orpheus and Seed, as well as Soldier 11 fighting on the front lines, having to fight a 3v1 while also having to factor in a sniper on the battlefield, I think maybe they'd be able to get a win. Again, we don't know the strength of the other members of Obel Squad. We know they're strong, they're elite soldiers, but until they are released, I don't know. But more than likely, I'd still reliably say that I'd give it to Miyabi until then. Now, Yunquei Summit. This one, I'm giving it to Yunquei Summit, because they show that Yi Zhuan could already fight Miyabi by herself. Now, I'm not even going to have the discussion in this video on who I think wins between Miyabi and Yi Zhuan, because that's a whole can of worms I'm not opening yet. But you have someone who is pretty much comparable or in a similar power bracket, and then having two other people who could be there for support, or in case Yi Zhuan goes down, they can fight the exhausted Miyabi afterwards. I think Yunquei Summit could get the win, especially if it's just Miyabi versus them. I know I'm probably forgetting a faction. I could be. If I am, feel free to answer how they would do against Miyabi in the comments, but as for now, yeah, that's how I think it goes. To sum things up, basically, if you skipped all the way to the end here, most entire factions just get speed blitzed, and the ones that can fight against her are still going to be slower than her, and have to rely on exhausting her to have even a fighting chance. Basically using a numbers advantage to whittle her down like a raid boss, rather than a reliable 1v1, because Miyabi, besides Yi Zhuan currently, is just on a different tier from anyone besides Section 6.